You wake up at 3 a.m. and your body is already afraid. Not of anything specific, just afraid. Heart slightly faster than it should be. Eyes moving to the corners of the room before your mind even forms a question. You reach for your phone. The scroll begins. And here is the thing nobody says out loud. That entire sequence was flawless execution. Your nervous system performed exactly as designed. Threat detected, environment scanned, social connection sought, zero malfunction. The only problem, the single error in that entire chain, is that your body thinks you are somewhere you are not. Somewhere with predators, somewhere with consequences for stillness, somewhere a fire is the only thing standing between you and the dark. There is a gap inside every human being alive right now. On one side, the world as it actually exists, cities, algorithms, glass rectangles carrying the accumulated knowledge of civilization. 8 billion people somehow occupying the same planet simultaneously without a shared understanding of why. On the other side, the mind trying to process it. That mind is not modern. It is not even close to modern. Your brain finished its core architecture roughly 300,000 years ago. And evolution, which moves at geological pace, has made almost no structural updates since. What you are running right now, cognitively, is essentially the same operating system that watched predators move through open grassland, that memorized the faces of 60 people and called that the entire world, that understood night as danger and fire as survival, and a stranger's rejection as a potential death sentence. That system, that exact system, just felt something when your phone buzzed, and it wasn't the person you were hoping for. Your nervous system cannot tell the difference between loneliness and exile. It never learned to. Here's a question nobody asks clearly enough. What does it actually mean to inherit a mind? Not values, not language, not culture, the actual hardware, the wiring beneath every thought you have ever had. Arrived preloaded, shaped by pressures you never experienced, from a world you have never seen, solving problems that no longer exist in the forms that created them. You are afraid of the dark. Most humans are. Not intellectually, you know what a light switch is. But somewhere beneath the knowing, darkness still feels like exposure. Still feels like the moment before something moves. That fear is a gift from someone who survived. Specifically, from every ancestor in your line who felt that fear and responded correctly, while others didn't. Fear of darkness was selected for, over hundreds of thousands of years, because the humans who weren't afraid of the dark kept dying in it. You are descended exclusively from the ones who made it. Every instinct that kept you awake last night was once, in the most literal sense, the difference between your bloodline continuing and disappearing forever. The problem is that the threats have changed shape. The instincts haven't. Pattern hunger. Imagine a sound in the grass. Your ancestor has two options: assume predator, run, or wait and confirm. The one who waited for confirmation is not in your family tree. So you inherited a brain that finds patterns aggressively, that detects intention in randomness, that builds narratives from accidents. A brain that would rather be wrong about a pattern that doesn't exist than miss one that does. Today, conspiracies, superstitions, the absolute certainty that the universe is specifically targeting you this week. The feeling that everything is connected in ways just beyond your grasp. Not irrationality, inheritance, social pain. Here's the one that changes everything once you actually understand it. Your brain processes rejection using the same neural architecture it uses for physical injury, not as a metaphor, as a mechanism, measurable, documented. The same regions activate. Because for 290,000 years, being cast out of your group was not embarrassing. It was a slow execution. No food storage, no shelter alone, no one watching the perimeter while you slept. Exile equaled death, so your brain learned to treat social loss as mortal threat, which means a stranger's comment, someone you will never meet, in a city you'll never visit, who spent 4 seconds forming an opinion about you, lands somewhere in your chest like a wound, and your body responds as if your life just came into question. Because once, it did. The restlessness. Humans walked out of Africa and didn't stop. Across deserts, across half-frozen land bridges, into unmapped forests in every direction with nothing but the instinct that staying in depleted ground was a slower death than the unknown. The restless bands survived. You are restlessness. You are the horizon instinct. That quiet, persistent feeling that where you are is never quite where you should be. Older than ambition, older than dissatisfaction, older than every word you've ever used to describe it. Every animal on this planet flees death when it arrives. Only one species has to carry the awareness of it every day from the moment consciousness becomes sophisticated enough to model a future, including a future that ends. Think about what that actually means. The same cognitive leap that let humans plan, build, imagine, create, that exact leap also made it impossible to avoid knowing. No instinct protects against the knowledge. No reflex softens it. You build meaning because you can see the void. Every religion, every monument, every desperate legacy, child named after a parent, name carved into stone, art made for people not yet born. None of it is only greatness. It is a species doing what it must with a weight it never asked to carry. And here is the escalation nobody prepares you for. Individual anxiety is ancient. Tribal psychology is ancient. But now, for the first time in 300,000 years, 8 billion ancient survival minds are connected, all running simultaneously, all pattern-hungry, all treating social rejection as exile, all restless, all aware of death, all plugged into systems designed to exploit exactly those instincts for maximum engagement. What happens when ancient wiring meets infinite scale? Look around. Modern cities, 6,000 years old. Agriculture, 12,000. The internet, 50 years in existence. 15 years in everyone's pocket. The mind navigating all of it, 300,000 years old. We did not build civilization and then adapt to it. We built civilization out of these ancient minds, and then the civilization began evolving faster than the minds ever could. Faster than biology moves, faster than instinct updates. We are not at the end of something. We are the first humans who have ever had to survive this specific wilderness. And we are doing it with hardware designed for a completely different one. That is not pessimism. That is the actual situation. There is something that sits in all of this. Not comfort, not resolution, something more honest than both. The anxiety you carry, ancient. The loneliness you feel in crowds, ancient. The restlessness, the dread, the grief with no attached loss. The 3 a.m. certainty that something is wrong. Ancient. 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 You are not breaking down. You are a 300,000-year-old mind. Loyal, intact, and brilliant at surviving a world that no longer exists, trying to navigate systems evolving faster than any biology could follow. Somewhere beneath all of it, part of you is still beside a fire in the dark, listening, watching the place where the light ends. The savannah is gone. That part of you never got the message. And the most human thing about you, the part that builds and loves and reaches for meaning even knowing how this ends, that part never stopped trying to anyway.